Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Julia in the Garden. I am Julia. I am here in Vermont in USDA Zone 5B, and I am so excited for this gardening season. Today, I'm going to be talking about what I'm growing in my potager or kitchen garden. I've got boxes of seeds here that I've had before, and then stay tuned to the end, and I will show you a seed haul of the new seeds I've gotten for my garden. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to go do that now and feel free to click that like button at any time. In this video, I'm just focusing on the seeds for my garden, and I'm really focusing on edible things. So it will include vegetables, fruits, herbs, and some edible flowers, but cut flowers are going to be a separate video, so look out for that. Let me start with my box of seeds. This is my fruit and veggies box. I just had these boxes, so I was using what I have, and I cut out pieces of paper to fit and marked them with labels there. So let me just go through these quickly. I've got leeks here. They're under my allium section. I've got a bunch of different beans. So I have a combination of bush beans. We've got like a green bean, lima bean, dragon tongues beans, as well as this runner bean. I am not going to grow the long beans again this year. They're still living in here, but they were really cool to grow, but we didn't love eating them, so we're not going to do them this year. We may do them in the future again. Then I've got for my brassicas, I've got Brussels sprouts. I've got cauliflower. I've got, this is cabbage violaceo di Verona. It's gorgeous. It does take a while though. I'm going to maybe keep an eye on that. Started a little earlier this year. And this is like a good green cabbage, Glory of Einkusen. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. So those are my brassicas that I have already. You will see a lot of these. I'm adding more in my seed haul. I've got carrots. We love growing carrots. We love these little Parisian. They're like little balls. And I've also got Amarillo, Black Nebula. I'm not actually going to grow these this year because they were a little woody. And Kyoto Red, which they say they're better in the fall. I got them in too late to really have a harvest this past fall. But this coming fall, I'm going to try again. I have two different kinds of corn. So I have glass gem corn and I have a sweet corn. And I'm debating if I'm going to plant one or both. The tricky thing with corn is pollination. They can cross-pollinate and it's not great. And I don't think I have enough space to separate them, although I was debating trying to plant one in my garden and one on the other side of the house closer to the orchard area. And so that is an option. I just have to decide what I'm doing. What I was going to try to do is this one matures a lot sooner than this one does, and I was going to also plant it earlier in the hopes that this would be like pollinated and maturing before this, so that they wouldn't cross-pollinate, kind of do a difference in time. And so I could try that. I just haven't decided yet, but I'll definitely be growing at least one, if not both of these. I have two different kinds of cucumber. I have dragon's egg and I have a Boston pickling. So we're really excited to make pickles this year, and these were just so cute. So I think they'd be really cute for fresh eating, and we can also try to pickle them. We'll just see. We're just trying things out. These are the greens that I've had. Ooh. It's my Cabbage Nero de Toscana. It's also known as dinosaur kale. I've got a European mesclun salad. I think I'm going to be planting this in. I have like little window box things on my deck so that they're closer, and then use it for cut baby greens and I guess reds. I have Bloomsdale spinach. I have arugula. I love arugula. Arugula is like one of my favorite things to eat. And I accidentally last year got 2 packages of Swiss chard, but that's okay because I also love a Swiss chard. Right now, I only have one type of pea. I have a King Tut purple pea. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I ordered another kind. And if I didn't, I should place another quick order to get more peas because I love sugar snap peas in the garden. We did plant this last year and they were, and I enjoyed them. And I did save some seeds from the ones I planted last year. So I have some left in here. So I might plant both these and some of the ones that I've saved. Peppers, we have a lilac bell and a king of the north. These are a really pretty color. Last year, I started them way too late. I think I started them around 4 weeks before our average last frost, and I got them in like a month to 6 weeks after our last frost. And so they were just tiny. I'm hoping, my plan is this year to start them 8 to 10 weeks before the last frost, and then to get them in soon after that date. And hopefully they will get a little bigger. I love my pumpkins, and you will see more that I got this year. But to start with, I have Howden pumpkins, and I grow these for jack-o'-lanterns. They grew really well this year. The vines took over, so I know I need to give these a lot of space. These are the Rouge Vide Tom. I think some people call these Cinderella pumpkins as well. I love these, so I'll be growing these again. They're really pretty. And then the white boar pumpkins, also really pretty and kind of novel. And they grew decently well. And I think this was the best tasting. So I made pumpkin puree with all the pumpkins I grew. And I think this was the best tasting of the pumpkin puree, actually, and the best like texture. So I'm going to be growing more of these. And then I tried to grow these last year, but I didn't have a place to grow them up. And the seedlings, honestly, the seedlings on this didn't germinate as well and grow as well as my other pumpkins. But I have seeds left. I'm going to try again. I love having the little mini pumpkins for decoration in the fall. So those. I've got a couple of roots that are not carrots. So I've got rutabaga and I've got radish. And yeah, so I grew these last year and I will be growing them both again. These are squash that are not pumpkin. So the pumpkins get their own category. This is the rest of the squash. So we've got a butternut. I got the Rugosa Violina Gioia. And again, I got one of these plants in last year, but way too late. And so it grew a tiny butternut that didn't have time to fully mature, but it was so cute. So I'm excited about these ones. I love cooking with butternut squash. Spaghetti squash. I got a acorn squash, and then this is a zucchini. This is the only summer squash that I currently have, because we haven't eaten a lot of it. But I'm excited to grow some zucchini and try some new things with zucchini. I've heard they can be prolific, so we'll see if that's the case. And also, I love squash blossoms, so I'm going to try to see if I can harvest some squash blossoms this year as well. Tomatoes. Okay. These are the Betelux. These did not grow great for me last year. And I had gotten them as like a canning tomato. And I do make a lot of sauce with my tomatoes, so I really wanted this to do well, and it just didn't. But I'm going to give it another chance this year and see how it grows. I also got more paste tomatoes, you'll see in the haul. So, but we'll try that, Betelux. I have a couple left. These were free seeds last year. This is the Black Vernissage, and this is actually what ended up being one of our favorite types of tomato. Definitely growing those. These are Chadwick cherries, which were okay. We'll grow maybe one of them again. Dr. Witches, not entirely sure. We loved our Dr. Witches. We loved these tomatoes. They were the biggest ones we grew, and delicious. My daughter and I both loved them. We would do like a tomato sandwich where I used my own homemade bread, like a crusty bread, thick slice of bread, mayo, thick slice of Dr. Witches or Witches on top, like thick, and then some fresh basil, and it's just so good. I'm so looking forward to that this year. Okay, this is Costoluto Genovese, and I was really excited for this kind, and they look really cool, but in that I found a lot of them got cat-faced, and even if they weren't cat-faced, just like they're kind of gnarly. I don't know if that's the right word for them, but they're all kind of wrinkled, which looks really cool, but it found that it was like led to pockets that could rot and such, and so I think I'm going to take a break from growing it this year, and I might try again next year. It did grow prolifically. It's just that the tomatoes themselves, they just weren't as good as some of the other tomatoes, and they had some of those issues that I had to end up cutting off a lot of the tomato. So they weren't my favorite, but I'm going to save these seeds and maybe in the future try them again. Sunrise Bumblebee, we loved these ones as well. They're really pretty, if nothing else. And my daughter loves to have cherry tomatoes as a snack, and I roasted these. Were really good roasted. This was another gift seed from last year from Baker Creek, and this is a purple Russian tomato. And again, I really liked this one, so I'm going to be growing that one again. Brad's Atomic Grape. We also really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the flavor of this one, actually. I think I liked it the most. I mean, it looks really cool, and my son was really excited to grow it just for its looks. But he doesn't eat raw tomatoes as much as my daughter and I do, and I think I preferred these more than anybody else did. And then I won't be growing these this year, but these are mini bell tomatoes. They're determinate. They're the only type I currently have that are determinate tomatoes. And I thought they'd be really cute and kind of ornamental as well. And yeah, I didn't like the flavor as much actually as others. And yeah, they were okay. And I might try them again in the future. So I'm not going to get rid of the seeds, but yeah, I'm not going to grow them this year. Watermelon. I have this Blacktail Mountain watermelon because we do have a relatively short season here. I should probably know how many days I have. I don't off the top of my head. This takes about 70 days, so it should be doable. I managed to shade it out last year and didn't give it enough room. So we're going to try again this year. It's a learning process. I'm going to move on to herbs and some edible flowers that I'm going to grow in the potager this year. This includes both culinary and medicinal herbs. So let me start with some of these herbs. I have them organized by annual and then biennial and perennial. And sometimes, what is the line between an herb and a flower? So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. The first thing is chickweed, which some people think of as a weed. It grows prolifically in places. It's actually edible. It was the first herb fairy that we did in the Herb Fairies program. I will link my review to that here. We love that. And my daughter loves to eat chickweed, so she grows it in her little spot, and I'm going to be scattering it around the garden of the yard. I've got this Giant of Italy parsley, which I plan on growing for culinary purposes, but also I'm thinking of putting some on the outside of my garden and some other places to distract the rabbits. I read that if they have this available, they might eat this and then ignore everything else. So we might try that. This is an herb or flower, and this is German chamomile. I love my chamomile. I love the smell of it. It's just, and you can use it to make a calming tea. And sometimes I use it in like my skin salve and other herbal preparations. This is holy basil, which also can be used to make a tea. Some of the medicinal things I'm growing this year some of the medicinal things are things that I've used regularly and I'm comfortable with, and I have grown before in containers. Some I use regularly but haven't grown before, and others like this, I don't necessarily use it regularly, but I want to grow it and learn about it. And I think growing it is a great way to get to know the herb and do some research and find if it works well in my life. So holy basil. Oh, this was a free gift of dill. I will definitely be growing dill this year for my pickles. I'm going to try this and see how this grows. This is cumin. So I'm not sure if it will grow well here, but we're just going to find out. Here, let me do this one first. This is cleavers. This is another kind of unusual herb to grow. It you sometimes find it on the forest edge and it's kind of sticky. It's cleavers. It cleaves to you. And I had a friend introduce me to this. We found on a walk, and it's edible. I think you can use it like a green, but I'm going to do more research on it as well. But it's another one that I'm trying to get to know. And then I have some basils here. I have a Thai sweet basil. I love Thai food, and so I have in my mind that I want to try to make tom kha gai soup, which is like the coconut chicken soup. If you know of a really good recipe for that, comment below. Or if you have any other recipes for any of these herbs that I'm showing you that you love, I would love to have them. So yes, that's my Thai basil. And then I have some of this dark purple opal basil. I love basil, so you will see a lot more in the seed haul. I ran out of my normal sweet Genovese basil and kind of went a little crazy. Into my biennial and perennial herb section here, we've got French thyme. It's going to be an annual here. I don't know why I put it in the perennial section, so I'll probably just stick it in the... Motherwort is an herb that I want to get to know. It was one that I was drawn to that I want to grow and get to know some more. Comfrey. I'm going to try growing this from seed. I've heard it's a little tricky, Permaculture gardeners love this because you can, it's a nutrient accumulator, and you can plant it around and under your trees and other plants, and then chop it and have it be a living mulch, and all those nutrients will go into the soil. So yeah, I'm going to try growing it. It can also be used medicinally. There's been some controversy recently over whether it can be used internally. I'm not going to weigh into that right now. I don't know enough about it. I'm going to start by growing it and learn more about it as I go. Mugwort, another one I haven't really used regularly, but trying to get to know. This is Artemisia vulgaris. I want to make sure to get the common mugwort. That's the type that's used medicinally. I've got some wild thyme. It's also known as creeping thyme. It creeps and it has some pretty purple flowers. So woolly lamb's ears. I really wanted to grow these for my kids because they're just like really soft and woolly. And so I thought that'd be fun to have in a place where maybe the toddler, because I will have a 1-year-old in this year's garden. My garden baby will be a garden toddler, toddling about most likely. So something for her that she can feel, that's sensory. Yarrow, I'm debating whether or not to actually plant this in my garden because it grows wild here, and I harvested a bunch last summer from our wild patch, but I may grow a little bit in my herb circle. This is Hyssop official, growing that. It's a medicinal herb. Mullein, we also have growing around our property, and I want to get to know mullein more. I will be growing this a little bit in my garden. Some of these things do spread quite a bit, but I'll be growing a little bit in my garden and getting to know this better as well. Stinging nettle. So you might think I'm crazy for wanting to grow this in my garden. It is so nutritious and so good for you. I'm going to grow it on the edge of the garden. I might even grow it outside the gate a little bit and see how it does. It kind of likes kind of a wild, unkempt place. So yeah, I might sneak it in some different areas. I don't want to put it like right next to the kids' stuff or where we're harvesting regularly. But I do want to grow it and learn to harvest it safely. And, I mean, it stings, but it's not going to like seriously injure you. Plantain is also considered a weed by a lot of people, and it does grow as a weed in our garden. When I find it, I try to, like pick it and dry it, some of it. But it's one of our herb fairies from the Herb Fairy book, and so we're gonna plant a little patch purposely in the garden as well. And dandelion, yet another one that a lot of people try to get rid of. We were so excited to see lots of dandelions in our yard last year. We went out and just like harvested a bunch of flowers and leaves and ate them. We had a dandelion feast as we were reading our dandelion herb fairy book. So we might actually plant a few in the garden. Burdock I won't be planting, actually. I have the seeds for it. We have so much. I had gotten these seeds and planted it in a container. It didn't grow enough for us to use it because it is one of the herb fairies. I had planted it when I had a container garden at our last house. Here it grows so plentifully everywhere, and the birds get everywhere, and I try to clear a lot of it out, to be honest, because it just is too much. So I won't be planting more, but I will be harvesting some of the burdock from around our property. I'm going to try to grow fenugreek. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not. So I use this to help me with my milk supply when nursing. So I thought it might be a good idea to try to grow it. It originates in India. We are definitely far from India. Our climate is not hot at all. So we'll see. I don't know if it's going to grow well or not. And this is from last year. So hopefully the germination won't be too bad, but I'm going to try to grow this catnip as well. It's a good herb to put in like a tea blend for kids or for calming purposes. It does not have the same effect on kids as it does on cats. So good to know. I have a few more things to share, and these are some edible flowers. And some of them I also consider herbs. But here we go. We've got pansy. This is the dynamite lavender, and pansies are edible. I also have violet heart's ease, which I love. These are also called Johnny Jump Up, also edible. Nasturtium, this is the only variety I have left from last year, and I only have a few seeds left in here, so you'll see some more of this in the seed haul. Calendula is wonderful. I consider it an herb. It's obviously also a beautiful flower, but it can be used. It's the main ingredient in the skin salve that I use. It's kind of like, I make kind of like a homemade Neosporin. And it can be used a variety of ways, and it's beautiful. I got some Munstead lavender. This is supposed to be I think the hardiest form of lavender. I love lavender. I just have really wet clay soil, so I'm going to have to come up with a solution. I might end up planting it in a pot, but I do really want to try to grow it. And the last thing I have here is wild bergamot. It's also known as bee balm. And these flowers are edible as well, so I'm including it here, but I'm also mainly planting it as a pollinator plant. Those were all the seeds that I already had. Most were from last year, the year before. And now I'm going to show you my seed haul. So I'm going to start with Baker Creek. I know a lot of us love Baker Creek. If you don't know who they are, I believe they're based in Missouri, and they sell a huge variety of heirloom seeds of all sorts. So I got quite a large order, and there's a few things from my Baker Creek seed order that are not in this haul because they're in the flower haul. So again, watch that when it comes out. Okay, where to start? I'm just gonna jump right in with this pile here. I've got a couple piles here ready to go. And this first one, carrots. So we grew ox hearts last year and ran out. So I've got ox heart carrots. I've got Danvers half long carrots. These are kind of like my standard normal carrot. And purple dragon are one of my absolute favorite carrots. So all these I will be growing quite a few of this year. I didn't grow any beets last year. Okay, to be honest, growing up, my mom loved beets, but the way she cooked them, I just didn't love. And so as an adult, it took me a while to get into beets, and I do like them roasted. I like them in a couple different preparations. I just don't eat them that often. My son has found that he loves beets, and I feel like they'd be fun to grow. So I got Ruby Queen because he wanted a deep red one. I got Golden, and I got Kyoja. Because they're beautiful. Why not? Why would I not get them? Also new to growing eggplant. I really like eating eggplant. My kids, it's not their favorite, but every once in a while I make something with it anyway. I'm hoping if we grow our own, they might like it a little more. We are in a very northern climate. I tried to get some that had shorter dates until maturity. So, this is a Japanese, I believe it's a Japanese or Chinese. It's an Asian eggplant. And I've heard from people around here that they grow better than like the traditional other kinds of eggplants in this area. So I got Ping Tung. And then I got Listada de Gandia, which I believe is like a smaller one. So I will be starting these soon along with my peppers. Couple more tomatoes here. I'm going to be growing so many tomatoes, so many different kinds of tomatoes this year. And I'm really excited about it. These are the blueberries, and oh my goodness, I'm just so excited about them. I don't know what else to say. They turn purple in the sun. And I also got the blue cream. I think there's another blue type as well, like maybe a blue yellow type, but I don't know what they are, and I didn't see them on the site. So those are the two I got. And then we got purple bumblebee. We loved the sunrise bumblebee last year, so purple bumblebee as well. And I'm hoping that I can kind of do like a cherry tomato colorful mix to eat and maybe give to friends and family. I think it'd be super fun. I guess I can start with my gigantic pile of basil. I love basil, and I just decided this year I couldn't decide what kinds I wanted to try. So I'm trying a lot of them. I'm going to grow at least one of each of these plants and taste test and see what some of my favorites are. So this is lemon basil. I'm excited to try this, maybe like in drinks or something. Like you just put it in some water, or I don't know. It sounds delicious. I've got cinnamon basil. I have lime basil. I have blue spice basil, which is supposed to make really pretty flowers. And a lot of these make different color flowers, so I will be using them to eat, but I also might let some just grow and see, and maybe even use for cut arrangements. I have Emily, which I think is like it's a Genovese type, but like but smaller. So we'll try that one. And then I got this Greek dwarf basil and a Persian basil and a Persian basil, which I wonder if it's going to be like the Thai basil. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll do this pile next. So this is a melon. I honestly am not a huge fan of melons other than watermelons. But I'm hoping if we try our own, I'll like it better. But my son really wanted to try this one. Partially, it's called Noir de Carme melon, and it's black until it ripens. It ripens to this color, but while it's growing, it's black, and he just loves all things black. So he's gonna try to grow this in his garden, and I'm excited to try it. Let's see. Oh, I was out of broccoli, so I'm gonna go ahead and try the Waltham. I was debating between this one and the Calabrese, so we'll try this year, and then next year I might add the Calabrese and see what I like better. I was also out of my red cabbage, so this is the one I chose because it's a shorter, it's faster to mature than some of the others. I like using red cabbage for things like I put it on like fish tacos and things like that. This is Corbaci pepper, so my son had asked if we could grow more peppers, and my family does not like spicy things. I mean, I don't love super hot peppers. I'm not really like a jalapeno person, but I can deal with a little bit of spice. They cannot handle spice at all. This is supposed to be a sweet pepper. They look really cool. I'm excited to try it. I got 2 pumpkins from Baker Creek. I got this winter luxury pie pumpkin. I didn't grow any pie pumpkins last year. I don't know what I was thinking, but clearly pie pumpkins need to be grown. So these ones, like they get, I don't know if it shows on this picture, but they can get like a white netting kind of look on them, so they also just look really interesting, and they're supposed to be yummy. So pie pumpkin and Jarradale. We ended up buying 1 or 2 of these last year for decoration, and I can't remember if we ended up eating them, but they are edible. So and apparently they also keep really, really well. So which actually, yeah, they did keep really well, the ones that we bought. So we're gonna try to grow these. So these are edible flowers, and they're nasturtiums. I mentioned I only had one. I had Yeti nasturtiums, which are kind of like a whitish, yellowish color, but I only had a few seeds left. So I got more. Well, first I got red because I just wanted red, but then these are just so cool looking. So I couldn't resist, because how cool would this look like in a salad? I'm very excited about this. So we didn't eat a lot of the nasturtiums last year. I don't know why. This year, I'm hoping to up my edible flower game and put them in more things. So again, if you have things you like to make with edible flowers, let me know in the comments. And these are my free seed packets. There's one more that's with the flowers right now, but I'm really actually excited about this. So I got another kind of radish. It says it makes beautiful pickles, so I might try to do that with it. It's a Sichuan Red Beauty. So I think those look really pretty. I'm just gonna go ahead and plant them with my other radish and see what happens. And then I'm actually really excited about this lettuce. So I had that one lettuce mix, and I did get one kind of lettuce from somewhere else that I'll show you in a minute, because I do want to try to grow some heads. And so I'm actually really excited to get these as free seeds, because I'm going to try to grow these. I might plant some up near the house for baby lettuce, but I'm also going to try to see if I can grow these as heads. So there's the Butter Crunch, and there's the Merveille de Quatre Saisons. Maybe that sounded cool, whether or not I said it correctly. But yeah, so lettuces. I'm going to show you my 2 smaller orders before I jump into the Hudson Valley Seed Company order, which is my other big order that I did. So this is from Mowing Organic Seeds, and I was just mentioning the lettuce. This is the lettuce I ordered. It's winter density. So my plan is to grow this as heads of lettuce. And then I also got my onions from them, because I liked the selection of onions they had. I tried, hopefully I succeeded, to get all open pollinated ones so that I could feel comfortable saving my own seeds. I got Dakota Tears. This is supposed to be good storable yellow onion. I got Ailsa, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, Ailsa Craig, which is supposed to be large and really yummy. It does not store well though, but I just really wanted to try it. And then this is a Red Geneva Cipollini, because I wanted to grow a red onion and it looked yummy. So those are the 3 kinds of onions. I'm going to be starting those soon. Those and pansies, I think, are the first things that I'm starting from seed. And I'm thinking I'm going to try, so I'm debating between 2 different methods, because I I love watching Charles Dowding, and he does these little bunches of onions, and then he can pull some as green onions, and then the other ones grow bigger. And I like that idea. But I also like what Luke at M.I. Gardner did, and he just like does a whole lot of little onions like in a small area, and then picks them out and plants one by one. So I might try both methods. I realize that sounds crazy, but gardening is like a giant experiment and it's fun. And if I can't decide, why not just do both? Another small order I did is from Harris Seeds, and I just ordered 2 things from them. One is in the cut flower section, and it's just stuff that I couldn't find elsewhere. So I honestly don't know a lot about the company, but they had these baby boo pumpkin seeds, and it's little white ones, and I just really wanted to try to grow them. I'm just mainly going to be growing these as decorations. So while I prefer to get a lot of heirloom and organic things, I just wasn't as concerned with these, and that's what I could find. So the rest of my seeds are from Hudson Valley Seed Company, and I actually saw them. They were in the vendor hall at Baker Creek, which I was not at Baker Creek, but I watched Jess and Jeremiah at Roots and Refuge Farm, their videos on the expo, and she had met the guy from Hudson Valley Seed Company, and being in Vermont, they are not super far away in New York State. So I wanted to support them for that reason, but also because they have these beautiful art packs. And he talked about how he matches artists to a plant, and I just thought that was so cool. So I got a bunch of art packs, and I'm hoping this year to get a tree specifically to use seed packets and maybe some other like dried flowers and herbs and stuff from the garden, but just basically a garden Christmas tree. So that's my plan for the art pack. Anyway, starting with this one, this is Aunt Mally's ground cherry. So I've heard about ground cherries before, and they actually had them in our co-op this summer, so I could try them, and I really like them. So gonna grow some ground cherries. Very excited about that, and it's just a gorgeous package. If you don't know, apparently they grow kind of like tomatoes. Again, I haven't grown them before, I've eaten them. And then they're like tomatillos in that they're in like a little husk, but they're kind of sweet. They still taste like slightly tomatoey and slightly tropical. It's really hard to explain. Now, there's something else I'm really excited about. These are Mexican sour gherkins, also known as cucamelons. They just look so fun to grow. This is another art pack. Isn't that so cute? So they're cucumber-like. I guess they're like have a lemony cucumber flavor. I'm really excited to try them. I will probably be snacking on them in the garden. A couple more tomatoes now. So yes, I'm growing a lot of tomatoes this year. This is the Cherokee purple tomato. I've decided I really like the dark tomatoes, and so I'm growing more of them. Paul Robeson, which I've heard is delicious. So again, excited about that one. And this one's not an art pack, but still nice. This is a Marzano fire tomato. San Marzano is a tomato that's known San Marzano is known as being a good paste tomato for making sauces and such. And I just thought these looked fun. They're Marzano fire, so they're also good for that, but they have like this stripiness to them. So I thought that would just be fun to try. This is my last pumpkin seeds, I think, that I have. I have a lot of pumpkin. This is a New England pie pumpkin. So I got the winter luxury one from Baker Creek. And this one, it's just a traditional New England pie pumpkin. We're in New England. I felt like I should grow it. And then I got a couple more watermelons. So I had the blacktail one last year, but then I just really wanted to try these. So this is the sugar baby one, and these are supposed to be smaller. So I thought that could be fun. And then this is a sweet Siberian. So it's supposed to grow okay in colder climates because, Siberian. And it's yellow, which is just so cool. And again, this is an art pack, and so it's gorgeous. Next, I have a few more beans. This year, I gravitated towards bush beans. Maybe next year, I'll try some more runner beans. I just liked how compact and prolific my bush beans were last year, and I'm hoping that I can preserve a lot more of them. I actually really like to freeze my green beans. I blanch them and then freeze them. I got these red swan beans. I mean, look at this art pack. Just so pretty. So this says red dusted, richly flavored snap beans on open habit, showy bush plants. So I just think they look so cool because they're red and then you can eat them like green beans. I don't know if they turn green or not, but either way, Along with my dragon tongues beans and my normal green beans, those will be really cool to have. These two I'm growing for dry beans. So these are cannellini beans, and I like to use cannellini beans in soups and such, so I thought I would try to grow them. And then a black turtle bean, which I also use in various recipes, so I thought it'd be fun to try to grow. This is my last pile, and I think this is all mainly herbs and edible flowers. So we're going to start with borage. I was out of borage, so it gave me the opportunity to buy the art pack, which I also think is cool. It looks like it's embroidery of the borage plant, which is cool. So this has, if you don't know, this has really cool looking blue blooms, blue blossoms that are edible and taste faintly of cucumber. My daughter likes to go pick them off and eat them. And they're also a great pollinator plant. This is anise hyssop, which is not actually a hyssop. I also have Hyssop officinalis it's a seed packet I already had. I'm going to try growing both and seeing if I can tell what the difference is. Cilantro. Also, the seeds of this are coriander, so I'll probably let some go to seed so we'll save some seeds and also have some coriander. I got some Greek oregano, so more basil. I was out of my sweet, like the normal Genovese basil, and so I got the art pack from Hudson Valley Seed Co. because I like the art pack. So I got that. And then I'm also trying the Italian large leaf basil. I'm excited to try these on the tomato sandwiches. I think they'll be really yummy. And then, okay, so we also have marjoram. So a lot of these are just culinary herbs, you'll notice. Common sage. I was out of sage seeds. So I managed to grow a huge like sage bush basically this past year. And unfortunately, I don't eat sage while I'm nursing because it can decrease milk supply. So I dried a lot of it and I just kind of have it hanging out, dried and hanging around. But I'll grow some more of it. It's good to have. I got some German thyme. This is supposed to be a nice hardy thyme. So I'm not sure if it will be a perennial here or not, but I'm going to try it and see what happens. So a little more than a year from now, check in and we'll find out. It's also an art pack, and I thought the gnome was funny. And the last, but definitely not least, is lemon balm. I love lemon balm. I was a little sad not to have grown it last year, and I was like out of seeds, and I just hadn't thought to order more in time. You may have noticed in my garden tours from last year, I didn't really grow herbs, which is silly because I love herbs, but a lot of them are perennial or they just grow a lot. And so I wanted to be sure of where I was putting them before I'm putting them in. But this year we're going heavy on the herbs. Lemon balm is one of my absolute favorite. It's in the mint family, but it's like this subtle lemony flavor and it's really calming. It's another herb fairy. So I'm sure I will get, maybe I'll do a little like herb fairy and themed tour of our garden. I might even do an herb fairy themed garden bed. Because we just love them so much. I just went through a lot of seeds for you. I'm hoping you enjoyed this video. If you did, click the thumbs up button below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I will be coming out with more videos as the season goes on, so you can see the whole kitchen garden throughout the year from start to finish. Until next time, happy gardening.